was one of them real black nights. Yeah, we tabbed to Sussex Mountains, which was the first position, and that was the hardest thing I've ever done in my 22 years in Power Rage, and I've done 50 miles of tab from one end of the train area to the other.
So, what you're about to watch is a conversation I had with a gentleman called Phil. So Phil reached out to me a few weeks ago and said, could a Falklands veteran get a discount on a Falklands Smock? And I says, look, Phil, I can do you one better. I can come down and personally size you up, and I'd love to hear your story about your experiences out there. So, so that's exactly what we did. And he told me about his experiences with 2 para, and it's, you know, having been to some of the places that we spoke about and seen the ground firsthand, you know, it is bloody insane what them geezers got up to. But yeah, and then we had a bit of a deeper discussion about post-traumatic stress disorder and how the military is handling it as best as they can these days, and you know, our sort of thoughts around mental health. So it's a very deep conversation. Not quite what I expected it to be, but yeah, no, it was really good. And if you are a Falklands veteran and you want to get sized up personally, get in touch. I'd love to come down and hear your story. You had to stay properly on it the whole bloody time.
Yeah, that tab from the beach to the first position, that was the hardest thing I'd done that was the hardest thing I'd ever done in my 22 years.
Yeah.
That was, we got to the position, and I was absolutely, I was done. I was exhausted. It really was, and I've never been that bad on a tab before. No matter how far it was just a case of, like I said, you could not. Nothing was notional. Everything was had to be there. And when you ain't got the airlift capability.
No. Yeah.
Shanks'
I remember when we were out in the Falklands, obviously on exercise, but the mortars were the only ones, because of the weight of their kit, they got heli lifted on. So when we land at San Carlos, we do something down at Onion Range, and they got helied forward. So they did like the first couple of hours of the tab, and then they got heli lifted forward, and it's just because of the pure weight of the kit. But you had to flip and do it. Well, I don't think the Argentinians would have liked it if they were like, well, hang on a minute, we just need to go get us fire support in place.
We didn't tab the whole of the island like 3 para did.
Right, yeah.
3 para, I'm not sure how far their tab was. It must have been 70 or 80.
Because weren't they racing the bootnecks?
They actually moved with the bootnecks.
Right,
but everything was on foot because of the lack of airlift. So. Yeah, 3 para and bootnecks, they tabbed virtually the whole of the island.
Yeah. And then how did the sort of following 48 hours after that go on for you?
Oh, when?
Well, so from getting to the first position and then moving on to Goose Green, what was...
we were at the first position for a few days. And
because there was a bit of like, no, we're not going to go, we are going to go, we're not going to go, we are going to go happening, wasn't there, with the head sheds?
It was supposed. Looking back at it now, you could have said, yeah, we could have blockaded Goose Green, and it would have been nullified out of the conflict. We could have blockaded it from the sea and blockaded it from the land.
Yeah.
But I think because we were losing a number of ships from Exocet missiles and bombing from Skyhawks and Mirages. That they needed a bit of a morale booster back in Westminster and all the rest of it. So I think it was designed first as a raid, get in there, smash them up and leg it.
Yes.
Which then turned into, well, let's do it properly and take the place out. Yeah. And that's what happened.
Yeah, flipping it. And then where did you head on to after that?
Well, we stayed at Goose Green for a few days to reorganise and get ourselves sorted out after that, and then we got choppered forward with one of the companies. I think it was D Company. We went to a place called Fitzroy Heights, which was near Fitzroy, which was where Galahad and Tristan got hit. And we stayed on the side of that mountain for a couple of days. As soon as we got there, the 155s from Stanley started shelling us, so we just went back on the reverse side of the slope, so the rounds would go over the top, and we stayed there. And it was about this time into the conflict that your equipment and kit, especially things like, because we were still wearing ankle boots, DMS boots and puttees. And the waterproof I had wasn't like that smock he just showed me. It was. The waterproof I had looked good because on one side it was green, and on the inside it was white. Right. Obviously because the location where we're down the Falklands, severe weather. We just landed, and winter had just started.
Yeah. So they're designed to be reversible then.
So every day that the calendar moved to the right, you were getting further and further into winter. Yeah. So as you can imagine,
it gets bloody cold down there.
Yeah, as you can imagine, everything's on a timetable because there's only just enough fuel for the ships, for the harriers.
Yeah, bloody hell, yeah.
Food, ammunition, water for the guys that are tapping across the islands and fighting battles and then moving on. So if you imagine, everything's on a strict timetable because you're running out of stuff. And the Atlantic conveyor got exocetted and went to the bottom with ammunition, food, water, helicopters, light tanks, everything that you need. And that went to the bottom. So everything was on a strict timetable. So if say for instance, we'd have attacked Goose Green and we got sort of held up for a couple of days because the resistance was stronger than expected. We'd have had to do it all again, so that would mean extra food, rations, ammunition, looking after casualties,
bloody hell,
etc. So every day that the calendar moved to the right, you're getting deeper into winter. So, and
then I suppose as well, with all the Argentinian prisoners that were being taken on, that was taking up food supplies as well.
They actually, at Goose Green, I remember we put them into the sheep shearing sheds, painted big POW white letters on the sheep shearing sheds, and they had their own food and all the rest of it. And I remember them actually feeding their guys. They had a big metal container on wheels and that, and lit it up, and they served their own food and stuff with.
There's still some of them cookers up on the side of Mount Tumbledown.
I know, we went up and seen them when I went back down in 2019. They're still there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. But as you can imagine, that weather and the kit and equipment we had, and those waterproofs I was talking about, the double-sided ones, when a raindrop hit the material, it just sort of spread and absorbed. It didn't sort of stay there and drop off like
it was meant
jacket, like a Gore-Tex jacket.
Yeah.
It just sort of hit the jacket and
just
spread
soaked in.
And you just thought, that's not good.
Yeah.
And
there's an extra couple of grams of weight for every bloody drop.
And then after a while, it was soaked through, and you just get soaking wet.
Yeah.
And the kit was useless really.
Yeah.
When we got to Goose Green and we sorted that place out, I remember getting a pair of boots, an Argentinian pair of boots, and I was wearing them afterwards. A lot of the guys did.
Really?
Yeah, because DMS boots, it's an ankle boot.
Yeah,
wearing puttees with it. We've been wearing boots like that since before the Crimea.
Yeah.
The Crimea, the Boer War, Zulu Wars.
Yeah.
And everything after that. So and we only started wearing high leg boots was when we were doing endless tours in Northern Ireland, and they made a high leg boot, a patrol boot that you could wear on the streets.
Yeah.
And that's where they first started.
Yeah, and was that because of the petrol bombs out there?
No, it wasn't.
No,
I don't think so.
Yeah.
No. But it was a high leg patrol boot, a light boot that you could wear on the streets, and that's when they first brought them in.
Yeah,
high leg boots. And other armies have been wearing high leg boots and that for donkey's years.
So you're having to wear Argentinian kit against them.
They're good boots, man. You imagine that it's good leather because Argentina's full of beef, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
So
yeah,
you got a lot of leather, a lot of leather, and the
yeah,
boots.
they make a lot of good, real good leather kit comes out of Argentina, so it makes sense that they did have good leather boots. Like.
Yeah, they were quite good actually. I was quite happy with them.
Yeah.
It was
the
like,
simple things.
It was like
a good pair of boots to keep your feet dry.
Well, you know, it's like if a bloke's got a good pair of boots, then he's halfway there, isn't he?
Yeah.
It was like the weaponry we had. We had the SLR, and the Argentinians had the FN, which was the automatic version of the SLR, same caliber.
Yeah.
We also had the SMG as well, which was absolutely useless. Yeah. You do more damage throwing it at the bloke. Shooting him with it.
Especially working at range like you were.
Yeah. Plus the fact that the way the land was in the Falklands, you could see for miles, so you needed some of that with a bit of range on it.
Yeah.
But an SMG was no good, so I, like a lot of the guys did, I put my SMG in my Bergen and got myself an FN.
Yeah.
All
really? Yeah. Just bloody borrowed one of those.
All the lads did.
Just didn't take it back to them.
Yeah, well, it was the same as an SLR, but it was just an automatic version. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's like when you go out there on some of the battlefield tours, and they're like, yeah, this is where this battle happened. You're like, bloody where? We're in an open field here. It's like maybe it goes a bit like that over the space of like 300-400 metres or something, but it's flipping intense, isn't it? Did you have issues with because where the ground was so soft, like, did you have issues with your mortars, like, just plugging in?
Yeah, we when we got to the first position at Sussex Mountains, when we got weapons free and we were allowed to bed in, check the belt and register the zone in front of the battalion and record targets with fire, we tried dozens of times, and the ground was just you go through a crust, and then once you got below the crust, that was it. After about 2 or 3 rounds, your barrel was about that high off the floor, and even with a periscope fitted, you couldn't see over the top of the ground to lay onto the post to fire. So we were constantly digging it out, trying to get in position. And it was we couldn't find a decent fight.
Fighting against it constantly, everything against the ground.
I think
against the elements.
What should have happened, because we got the briefs for what the Falklands was like on the way down on the Northern when we sailed down, and we were getting constantly briefed about this and that and all the rest of it. And I think somebody should have made a decision up the top about the ratchet bag, which is a large bag made of really thick, heavy canvas or nylon. Yeah. And you have a number of bags which are called cheeses. Yeah. Which are shaped like a cheese. Yeah. So they fit in, and what you do is you fill them full of earth, you put them in the main bag, you tie them together, you put the base plate on top, and you can fire that. You can fire rounds on extremely soft ground or on extremely hard ground. Yeah. So it would have that would have helped. Yeah. But then again, it's all carriage of kit and equipment.
I mean, them canvas bags, they're quite a few kilo, isn't it? Yeah.
You've had to empty them out and stuff them in your Bergen somewhere and tabber them, but it's something that we could have done with. But then again, at Goose Green, we found good mortar lines with firm ground, so we had no problems firing. Some of the kit and equipment we had made was.
I mean, that is just a story that transcends decades, isn't it? From as far back as into the sort of bloody, probably, well, as long as armies have been marching around the planet, there's been issues with kit, isn't there? And I know they're trying very hard these days, but it's still, everything's bought on a bloody budget, isn't it?
I think a lot of the kit the guys get these days is, personal equipment that seems really, really good. And there's still the issues, but it's like, bloody hell, some of the kit now that they've got, if you had that back then, it'd have been much more comfortable. A lot of the guys used to go into the army surplus stores, and we used to buy our own equipment and kit, because some of the kit that we were issued was
Yeah, crap.
Yeah.
Well, I used to have a Dutch Gore-Tex when we were still in DPM. You used to be able to buy these Dutch Gore-Tex from the surplus shops. I got it from a place in Aldershot. I can't remember, it might have been John Bull's or something. But it's an old Dutch Gore-Tex, and they had these like sort of rubberised liners on them. And then it was a sort of like almost like a cottony type Gore-Tex. You know, it weren't quite that Gore-Tex material, but it was sort of a bit like it. And I bloody swore by that thing. And then when we moved into MTP, I basically wasn't allowed to wear it. They're like, who do you think you are with your DPM on? So, but it bloody works. Do you know what I mean? I kept it with me and just had it for night time when it was howling down. But
I joined in '79, and my first tour after I left Depot Para, I went to Two Para, and we were over in Ballykinler on the infamous Warren Point tour.
Yeah.
That happened just before I joined the battalion. But our main task was to go down to Falkhill in South Armagh and work out the police station there. And South Armagh, they'd say the Falklands is cold and wet, but South Armagh is cold and wet as well. And that was the first time I'd experienced and we didn't really have waterproofs back in them days. And the guys were buying their own Peter Storms and their Barber jackets and things like that. But nothing really worked. And that's the very first time I'd experienced sort of real bad weather like that, and it really did.
Because you can't just go home and put the kettle on, get in front of the fire, can you? When you're out in it, you're out in it. Like,
I still maintain it's one of the coldest places or wettest places I've been. Was South Armagh.
Well, I suppose that is absolutely just that the. You know, it's just getting a kicking from everything coming off the Atlantic, isn't it?
It rains there and there's not a cloud in the sky. It's a mad place. South Armagh. But this is kit and equipment. You know, decent waterproof jackets. You know, and decent boots. It's just basics, isn't it, really?
Yeah, it is. I always used to suffer with my hands and my feet, like, so I'd always make sure I had plenty of dry socks, and you know, you're always buying your own boots. Like, but Altbergs were always the full leather Altbergs were always the ones. But like it says, it's.
Yeah, I bought myself.
You can never bloody keep your feet fully dry, can you? So I
bought myself a pair of lowers. I did. They were good boots.
Yeah. Them Mountain GTX ones, the big thick ones.
Yeah.
I had a pair of them at one point, and then just decent gloves. As well, find a warm glove where you can keep your dexterity. Like working with C2 sights, I was FSG for a little while, so it's I was always the number 2 on the GPMG. So dealing with C2 sights, your flipping hands are cold and bloody. It's just a nightmare, isn't it?
The lads in the Falklands, the guys were going down with cold injuries, and people were getting frost nip in the end of their fingers and frost nip in the end of their toes, and guys had trench foot and all the rest of it. But your admin, your personal admin has got to be good. You keep yourself as dry as you possibly can, and your socks, you change your socks regularly, you powder your feet, and you try and make sure your boots are as dry as they possibly can be. You know, trying to dry socks out. Every time you got a brew on or got a scuff on, you sort of your wet socks, you put them next to your brew kit.
Make little mini washing lines with bottles and bloody day sacks and that.
Yeah.
But it's places like that, your admin gets found out very, very quickly, doesn't it? If you're not on it, you get found out quick.
Or you put them under I used to put my socks over.
Into your armpits.
Over my shoulders, put my jacket back on, but put my smock back on and my windproof, just to try and help dry my socks out. But
I literally used to cut around with me socks just in the sort of hung on the inside of my shirt and that, my wet socks on the day before, and I just rotate them, and they're never properly fully dried out because you're bloody sweating and whatever else. But it was, I think subconsciously it's like it's working, I think.
I think the only night I spent undercover on the islands was when we went to Fitzroy. We'd been chopping out to Fitzroy Heights, I was telling you about. We spent a couple of days there anyway. We tabbed off the mountain. And that was really, really cold and wet when we were up there. I could feel myself going down. I really could. I was finding it difficult then. But we walked off the side of the slope, off the hill, the mountain, and we walked down, and we got a ride on an LSL, on the landing craft, and we went around to Fitzroy, and the battalion got in one of the sheep shearing sheds there, and that was the first day and night we had undercover, and guys got in there, and we started lighting up hexes and getting a brew on, getting scoff on. The place soon warmed up. And that was it. Everybody started to dry and thaw out, and you get a brew on, you get your scoff on, and you've had something to eat, and you got a full belly, you got a mug of tea there, a mug of hot chocolate or a mug of coffee, and the morale starts to soar. The guys get around, like, and you start having a bit of banter and a bit.
And like just talking about little bits that have happened. Like, do you remember his fucking helmet was sore on his head?
We spent that night undercover, and that was a good morale booster. And I remember getting in my dosbag, and I was, oh, this is good. And I was warm, and I was okay. And
I bet it smelled foisty in them sheds in the morning.
Well, they're full of sheep. Actually, in 2019, when we went back to Fitzroy, and they had some guys over from New Zealand and Australia and local people, and they were shearing the sheep. And we were watching them shear the sheep. It was quite interesting, actually.
Yeah.
Anyway, we
they come over in bloody teams, don't they?
Yeah.
But sorry, go on.
Anyway, we just before first light, got a kit back, got a kit outside, went out, got sorted out, put in positions. Right, okay, start digging there, and we started digging in.
Yeah.
And it was before first light. I remember standing to at first light, or just before first light, and the mist had come. It was the fog, and it was a really, really thick fog. You couldn't see 20, 30 metres away. It was that thick. Anyway, we stood to, and after standing to, we got back on with digging. And during the night, the Galahad and the Tristan had come into Fitzroy, which had the Welsh Guards on and that. We knew they were still on there, and we thought, they must be getting off soon. They're gonna start going on to what they're doing, or they're gonna get off and start digging in and preparing positions, in just in case we get hit at Fitzroy. And anyway, by about lunchtime, all the mist had burnt off, and the two boats were sat there in the water, and it was like a summer day.
Yeah.
Back home, and it was blue sky as far as you could see, and these 6 Skyhawks came in and bombed the ship's night. And I remember it happened.
That was in line of sight. You could see that, like.
Yeah, we saw it happen. I think, and we were firing everything about it. There was tracer rounds were going everywhere. And these Skyhawks were coming in and bombing the ships, and they flew off. I think the Harriers got them on the way, and I don't think any of them managed to get back home again. But the damage was done, and you know yourself. You're a guardsman, so you know what happened. Happened to the Welsh Guards, and some of the lads that came off that boat and when they got onto the shore, because some of them were dropped off by the lifeboats that were on the 2 ships. And they had, some of the guys had bad injuries, real bad burns. They lost limbs. I remember one lad being carried on a stretcher. He had his leg off, because I remember our platoon mortars. We went down to the shore where the boats were coming in off the Galahad, the rescue boats, and we were pulling them ashore and getting these lads off and getting them to our battalion aid post where the doc and the medics were looking after them, So that was pretty bad, but we just
fucking hell.
We were just talking about it amongst ourselves. don't know why they didn't get off the boat. You know.
Yeah.
And I know there's been a number of documentaries and programs, and the pink finger was pointed at a number of people and all the rest of it. But yeah, somebody should have made a decision and said, you know, get off the boat, because it was unnecessarily
just fucking
hit.
Sitting ducks. Yeah.
Because I remember when the lads got off the Welsh lads, they were in the sheep shearing sheds in the day, because I remember the two para lads getting amongst them, making brews and all the rest of it from. Yeah. That was pretty sad, because it needn't have happened.
Yeah. They literally came and just got straight off the boat, and that was the end of their flipping time, basically.
I think a lot of the Welsh guards. I think their mortar platoon that took most of the casualties on the Galahad and Nutrition.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the Welsh guards guys supplemented the Scots guards and took part in Tumbledown.
Yeah. I know a lot of them cross-decked across, didn't they?
Yeah.
So where did you go on after that then?
Well, after Fitzroy, we stayed there for a while. We went about, I'd say about 36 hours. We didn't have any food or anything like that, because the Atlantic conveyor had gotten hit, went to the bottom, and all the food was on
fucking supplies had gone down to the bottom of the nation.
Yeah, and the locals at Fitzroy, they got a load of sheep, butchered the sheep, made us a big cauldrons of mutton stew and that, and it was lovely.
The locals, but I think a lot of people don't realise, like, the locals are more British than bloody British people, aren't they?
Yeah, it's good.
They're more English than bloody British people. They absolutely look after you out there, don't they?
Yeah, they made us this mutton, and the only thing 2 para was short, and after that was toilet paper.
Yeah.
As soon as that fresh food hits.
Yeah.
Because I've been used to about 2.5 weeks of
just of biscuit browns and
chicken curry,
flipping
and ration packs. Yeah. So everybody was looking for toilet paper and all the rest of it.
So flipping heck alive.
So after that, we the 3 para did their attack on Mount Longdon, which I think, looking back at all the battles, I think was probably one of the hardest battles there. On my return trip in 2019 with the other 10 guys, we went up to Mount Longdon, and we all stood at the top of Mount Longdon, and we walked the routes and the routes of advance and all the rest of it, and we got on top of Mount Longdon, and we all said, how the fuck did 3 para do that?
Yeah.
But they did it, you know.
Yeah, bloody right they did.
Tough fight for them.
It's insane, isn't it?
Yeah.
I remember thinking that when we were there, it's like, how the hell did people basically do an attack up an open field, like, with 4 or 5 positions at the top? It's just insane.
I would think 3 para probably had the hardest battle there, I think. So 3 para did Longdon.
After a bit of a walk to get there.
Yeah, they walked across the island as well.
After a bit of a walk to get there.
Yeah, fair play to them. Yeah. When I was down there in 2019, I met up with a couple of locals, and during 3 para's march across the islands, this fella he drove a tractor, and he actually had it was a flatbed with his tractor. He was pulling it, and a lot of the kit was put on that with 3 para ammunition and all the rest of it, and he drove it across the Falklands with them, like, you know.
Really?
Yeah. Terry, I think it's Terry his name was,
Yeah,
Terry.
Good old Terry.
And Terry and Gus,
Yeah.
who I met.
It's the amount of leg energy that would have saved on people.
Yeah, you know, but still a long way to walk. And so when the 3 para did their job on Mount Longdon, and the last battle was Wireless Ridge, which was which I think was it 12th or 13th of June or 13th or 14th of June. Yeah, and Wireless Ridge was the last battle that 2 Para fought in, so we moved from Fitzroy and to Wireless Ridge.
Mm. Yeah. And then you were just getting the fire down for the geezers there?
Yeah, well, I remember my Sea King come in with this underslung, and it was huge.
Yeah.
And
just ammo?
It was just full of ammunition. And
yeah.
Normally number 3 on the mortar.
Yeah.
He counts the ammo and gives the ammo state to the CP tent, CPO. But 3 of us counted the ammo to get the mean average because there was that much of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was ginormous. Yeah. Biggest ammo state I've ever had. And we.
Wow.
Yeah,
we peppered them.
Well, pretty much. Yeah. But that was an all arms battle. That was because we had light support vehicle, light tanks. Was used as well. So.
Really?
Everything. Yeah. So that was one of the battles where everything was coordinated.
Mm.
That didn't last too long, and after that, 2 Para got into Stanley first, followed closely by 3 Para.
Stanley's an odd old place as well, isn't it?
Yeah, and the Marines got in last, but all these pictures.
That's not their fault.
No, they're just slower. I mean.
Yeah.
And that picture of the Marines raising the flag.
Yeah.
The first people that raised the flag in Stanley was 2 Para.
Really?
Yeah. And that flag that was the Marines raised, and it was all in the papers and all the rest of it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that was raised well after 2 Para.
Well, I always say bootnecks are like middle class squaddies, isn't they? So they're a bit more well spoken. So that's probably how they managed to talk the BBC into posting their picture first.
Yeah.
And then what did you do for them a couple of days after then when it's like, right, it's over, we're done? Where were you? Were you just pitched up in sort of locals' houses? And
I didn't get into Stanley. I got injured. I got injured during that battle.
Yeah. Is that how you did your knee?
No, it was my ankle actually.
Right. Yeah. Sorry.
Because we were having so much trouble with the base plates, we didn't have ratchet bags. One of our platoon sergeants, Ian, he thought it'd be a good idea if we chopped these large oil drums in half.
Yeah, chop them in half.
And bend the lips over, and a base plate would just fit in just nice.
Right.
So we filled them full of earth, and we dig them into the ground.
Mm.
So you basically had your base plate was like that.
Yeah.
Your barrel was like that.
Yeah.
And it helped for a while, but it didn't last too long.
Yeah.
And we were firing away. We were firing on charge 7, and we were firing, 10 rounds fire for effect, 10 rounds fire for effect. We got through.
That must have looked like hell erupting at the other side of that.
Yeah, we got through a hell of a lot of ammunition, and what happened was when we were firing, the can tilted over, and as we fired, the base plate came off of the can, and firing charge 7, it flew back, hit me in the ankle.
Fucking
and
hell.
you got the barrel and the bipod attached to it as well.
Yeah.
And it happened to happened to 4 of us, and because the base plates kept slipping, and the guys were putting their foot on the base plates and jamming their feet in there, trying to get them to stay in place.
Yeah.
And 4 of us, there was myself, George Smith, Steve Iton, and one other guy broke ankles and bones, trying to keep the base plates in position.
Yeah.
That didn't go too well.
No. And that probably hurt a little bit, didn't it?
Well, smashed my ankle. Yeah, all of us with broken ankles and that. We got Casifaced a couple of hours before.
Yeah.
The Argentinians surrendered, so I didn't make it to Stanley. So when we went back in 2019, we did the route down into Stanley, and
Oh, the walk down that they took. Yeah.
I was with a good friend of mine called Campbell Brandt. He's a jock, so he's probably supporting Argentina tonight.
Right.
And for the football. And Campbell showed us around Stanley like he was. Yeah, good lad, Campbell. I passed out of Depot Power with Campbell. Yeah. So he talked me through it and showed me around Stanley. Yeah. And that's the very first time. Walking around Port Stanley when we went down there. That's in 2019. I had a local come up to me because we were walking around. We had a berries on, so they knew who we were. And this local fella came up to me and said, he shook me by the hand, and he said, "Thank you for my freedom." And I was totally shocked by that. Because nobody had ever said that to me before.
Yeah.
And I said, he introduced himself, and I said who I was and that. He said, I was a little lad, I was a young lad at Goose Green when you guys came in and took the place.
Bloody hell.
He shook my hand again and said, "Thanks for the freedom."
God.
And he walked off. And that was it. I was quite taken aback with that. Nobody ever said that to me before, and he was a young lad at Goose Green back in the day. So it was nice of him to say it as well.
You see, you know, in these days, in these short news cycles, people forget about the things that, the good that, you know, the British Army's done, but like for them people all down there, they are British through and through. And like you're saying, they got bad treatment by the Argentinians when they came in. It's easy to forget, isn't it?
That trip down there, we actually managed to speak to the locals and some of the things that they were doing, you know, mock executions and treating people really badly, especially, you know, and wanting to get all the children in the Falklands and send them to Argentina to learn to speak Spanish. You know, so you can imagine what the locals were going through and the fucking the hatred for them that they had. Yeah,
bloody hell. No, that is such an insane story, isn't it? But just thanks for sharing that with us, man. I think that was probably one of the most humbling conversations I've had in a very, very long time, to be honest. To Phil, thank you very much for seeing us. God bless. God save the King.